welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is episode 51. As always, I'm Zach, and I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hey.
My best friend, Jake.
Watch your hand.
I hit your mic, yeah.
That's your opening line.
No,
that's your opening line now. You have to stick to it.
I had the perfect opening line, and then you hit my mic, and it just threw everything out of whack, which rhymes with my line.
Welcome back.
No. Knick-knack, paddywhack. Now we're back. How's
better.
everybody doing tonight?
I don't like that one as much.
You don't like most of anything that I do, so...
That's true.
That's true.
So,
that's true. You get it?
Yeah. Shout out to Pay Stub Hubby.
Yeah, Pay Stub Hubby. That sounds like someone's spouse that you like rent.
That's what I thought he was called for the longest.
That's a good idea, though.
Talking about Pay Money Wubby.
Yeah.
Pay Stub
which
Hubby.
we've talked about that before, but before we get into what we're doing right now, which, by the way, this is episode 1 recap of Free Agents, which we're going to be working through in this off season.
Also episode 1 of the next half-century amount of podcasts.
Yeah, well, so here's the thing.
Right?
Not technically. So we ordered our...
Oh, that took me a minute.
Yeah.
What happened was we started doing recaps during Final Reckoning.
Yep.
And we were doing them as the episodes were ordered. So, like, episode 1 of ours was episode 1. It corresponded to the TV show. Then we started getting interviews that we didn't expect. So we started releasing those 0.5 episodes.
Yeah. Big miss by us, man.
Well,
mistake on our end.
Not really, because...
we should have just kept it straightforward.
Because, like, if you go back and listen to Final Reckoning, like, episode 8 is episode 8 of Final Reckoning. Like, it syncs up well, but we had, like, 3 interviews by that point. And so that threw off our numbers. We actually hit episode 50 a while back. I think we're on like 64 or something.
It's like we were only planning to do podcasts for Final Reckoning.
Well, to be fair, I don't think we were expecting interviews so quickly.
Yeah.
I didn't expect interviews, but I didn't understand why you would say this is episode 1 of the podcast, because I knew that we were doing this for fun for us and that we would do the next season. And so I was like, are you going to start over with 1?
You say that, but you haven't even listened to the Cam interview.
That's true.
I have.
So.
She hasn't. But so this is for Free Agents. We're going to do them. We did this between Final Reckoning and War of the Worlds. So we watched The Ruins last time. Free Agents was the number 2 voted on one, so we wanted to go ahead and do that.
I am much more looking forward to this one.
Free Agents is a good season.
Because it's like, with The Ruins, there were those first 2 episodes where just like, we're doing it for the kids, so the crap hit the fan, right?
Yeah. Well, and we were doing 2 episodes per recap show.
Yeah, and it just, like, after those first couple episodes with the West blow up and everything, like, it just... To me, at least, it was just kind of bland from that point on.
Honestly, we gave everyone 4 choices to vote on back then, which was The Ruins, Rivals 2, Free Agents, and Cutthroat. Honestly, I think The Ruins might be my 4th favorite out of those 4.
Yeah.
I like all those seasons, but...
but let me pay respect to Mama Kim real quick.
She's not dead.
No, she's not, but she had quite a few shining moments in that season.
Yeah, and so... Basically, we were doing 2 episodes per recap last time because we knew the new season was going to be starting. However, it started in the middle of our recaps for The Ruins. I think we have more time this time around. So we're not going to be doing 2 episodes per recap podcast.
You would think.
I got all the time in the world for you guys.
Well, I mean, when the new season premieres, we don't even have a cast or anything yet.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's a leaked cast, but we don't have an official announcement yet. So... Basically, in a minute, we will tell you, if you do not know how to watch Free Agents, we will tell you a way to do it. But before we do that, last week we released an episode from our Patreon, which was a draft that we did with Logan from Rotten Bananas. However, I realized 2 days ago, and I haven't talked to you guys about this.
What?
I wish you would have.
I accidentally uploaded the wrong file.
Oh, my God.
It's not... So here's what it did. I took the original podcast we did with Logan that was on Patreon, and then I went back, I recorded this whole, like, 3 or 4 minute intro explaining Patreon, explaining what we do, how to follow us, how to support us, all that type of stuff. And then when I went to upload it, I accidentally just uploaded the Patreon podcast without the whole intro that I made and all that. It's too late now.
Yeah, no,
that's better than what I thought you were going to say.
No.
I thought you were going to say you only uploaded the portion where you talked about what Patreon is,
No,
and you did not upload the part where we were picking our people.
No, I would have caught that because I saw that the episode was over like 2 hours and 15 minutes, and so I thought, oh, it's got the intro on it. It's right. It's in the right folder. Apparently, the final master with the extra intro that I made was in another folder somewhere, and so I just uploaded the one straight out the bat. So I'm not going to redo it.
We're in real serious trouble because you're supposed to be our tech guru.
Yeah, it's 100% my fault, and I didn't catch it until...
Yeah, way to go.
Way
to go. You screwed up.
I don't go back and listen to them.
How do you sleep at night?
Hey,
Not well.
That's right. I put my feet on his legs.
Some dogs you got down here.
My toes are like ice cold at all times, and so I'll curl up in a ball and turn my back to him, and then I put my toes on the back of his thighs.
I've seen you do it, and he gets real irritated.
Where did you see that happen?
She does it on the couch in here all the time. She tries to bury her toes.
Yeah, she does do that.
I get that from my dad. My dad is like that too.
No, my toes.
Like if we sit on the couch, like I've seen him do it before. If he's sitting on the couch, you don't have to have a blanket or anything, but he will move a pillow and lay it over his feet, and I do that too.
Well, my toes get cold like that, and I used to do that to my ex-wife. Shout out.
Is that why?
That's why she's gone.
Yeah. She ran away.
Because I buried my toes in her thighs.
if you're listening to this now, basically go to patreon.com/smashingheads podcast. We do more things like what we did with Logan. We are continuing to do Patreon podcasts throughout the off season, at least 2 a month. That's kind of what we promised. We're trying to hit more than that, honestly, but we're saying we'll at least do 2 a month on top of other things that we do, giveaways, interviews with Patreon members, and things like that. But that's the main thing. Now, before we get into the recap of free agents, I'm going to talk through really quick how to watch this season.
Yeah, break this down for us.
So, MTV.com used to have this season. They actually used to have a lot of old seasons. In fact, when we started recapping the ruins, it was on there.
They took it off right in the
Halfway through us recapping the ruins, they just changed everything.
Because they knew. They knew what we were doing.
It was almost like they knew. It's pretty crazy because we were like 1 episode into the recap podcast.
God forbid people want to go back and watch your stuff, you know?
Yeah, here's the crazy thing. So I was trying to find ways as much as possible for people to be able to watch this. I did some like deep diving on MTV's website. Those videos are still on their website, hidden.
It's crazy.
The problem is
they did it on purpose.
No, the problem is when you go to play them, it says we have some like rights licensing issues. You can't. They're not available to view right now. They're not in any sort of navigation, but I found them, and so they're still uploaded on their servers.
What do you think the purpose of that is?
I think it's to do with the music. I really do.
Yeah,
I think it's like because they have random bands on there, and I think
they had Bless the Fall.
They
on
did,
this,
and
first
they had
episode.
El Nino too.
One of your favorites.
Do you think that's why like the licensing for the music that they had in these previous like these older seasons are more like mainstream? There was like Linkin Park and Fall Out Boy, and
there wasn't. Was there Linkin Park?
Not in tonight's episode.
Oh, in the new
one.
But
in other previous older seasons that we've gone back and rewatched. Like even seasons that you and I have watched, you'll like snap your fingers and be like, "Hey, I used to listen to this in high school," and I didn't know if maybe the reason they were having licensing issues was because it was like more mainstream music as opposed to like this previous season. There was one song by Fall Out Boy that was really weird, but also it seemed like they were using more like random off the wall groups.
No, if anything, the music that Jake and I recognize is way more obscure than a lot of the stuff they play.
Don't forget about that banger by Afterlife.
That was, but see that's probably signed to a major label. That's not like a label like we were like listening to back in high school. Like a lot of stuff that came on those older seasons were like independent labels like Victory Records and like smaller stuff. It wasn't Universal and Warner Brothers and stuff like that. I think that may be where the licensing issues coming in is. Anyway, there's neither here nor there, but it is still loaded on their site. However, if you want to watch, I'm sure there are torrents. I'm sure there are a bunch of various quote illegal ways to watch. We're not advocating for that, but I found 2 different ways that people can watch. One of them is through Amazon. Amazon offers a channel or streaming service of some sort called like MTV Hits. It's $5.99 a month. I haven't tried this myself, but I did find it. And it has basically season 23 onward, which Free Agents is season 25, so that would fall under that. And they offer a 1 week free trial. So it's worth checking out. That's one way to do it.
If you want to binge this whole season in 1 week.
Yeah, and some people do that. And I think it's only like 12 episodes or something like that. So it's doable for sure. The problem is I haven't personally tested it, but it seems to be all legit, and it's through Amazon. So, I mean, you don't have anything to worry about. You can do the free trial. The way that we did it is MTV Canada's website has it on there. And has a bunch of old seasons. Has Fresh Meat 2. Basically, a lot of this like whole like mid-2000s to like, I guess 2009 up to maybe like 2015 or so. They have a bunch of those seasons. The problem is, if you do not live in Canada, you have to use a proxy or a VPN, virtual private network browser. This is where it's going to get a little complicated. So tomorrow I'm going to try to put up a video. I recorded how to do it today. I'm going to try to get the voiceover on that so everyone knows what to do. The good news is Jake had to figure this out last night at his house.
Because I'm not tech savvy.
But you figured it out, though.
Yeah.
So basically you need to have Google Chrome, the browser, and then you just go on Google on there and type in Holeigh, Hola. That's the VPN we use. Type in Holeigh Chrome extension. The first thing that pops up, you install that. After that, what'd you have to do? I've had it on my computer, so it's been a while since I downloaded it. You basically just install it, and it's on your browser, right?
There was something, an issue, because I called you. I had to call you last night.
You tried to download a whole browser.
That's what I did. Okay, so
yeah,
there's an option to download a whole browser.
You don't need that.
That didn't work.
Download just the Chrome extension.
Yeah, because you're still watching it in Chrome.
Yes. And it sounds a lot more complicated than it is. That's why I'm putting out a video to try to show people. I know some of our Patreon group, they've watched it this way. But you just download it. It's a little fire symbol that says Holeigh. To the right of your address bar on the top, you'll see a little fire symbol. That means it's working. And you just click that, and it'll say, what website do you want to go to? And you type in mtv.ca, and it'll take you there. And it'll be like, hey, you're in the U.S. Do you want to change this to Canada? You just click yes, and then from there it should work. Correct?
Yeah.
That's what happened?
It worked.
Yeah. So the only other advice I would say is also download another extension called AdBlock Plus.
Yep.
Because then you can watch it without any sort of commercials. Because Jake started playing it last night and he had commercials, and I was like, oh, to go do this.
Yeah.
And it worked for both of us last night. We just did this.
Saved me about, what, 10 to 15 minutes maybe?
Yeah, because the other tricky thing with this season is the first episode, it looks like it's only 2 minutes long, but it's an hour and 2 minutes.
Yeah.
What?
I was just going to say that 10 to 15 minutes is a really precious time.
Yeah,
it is.
So download AdBlock. Again, I'm doing a video on all this. The only other thing is the navigation on mtv.ca is a little weird. You have to go to shows, then you have to go to shows A to Z, then you have to click T for the challenge, and then scroll down to the challenge War of the Worlds. Click on that, and then once you're in that page, you can click a drop-down menu at the top, and then there's like 12, 15 seasons to choose from, and Free Agents is one of them. Again, I made a video because it sounds way more complicated than what it really is. Because, like you said, you're not so much like tech. You've never used a VPN before.
No, I haven't.
But you figured it out. Like, you only called me because you just downloaded the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And once you got the right one, it worked right away.
Yep.
Okay. So that's the main thing. There are other options. VPNs just typically cost money. Holeigh is free. And it basically is just rerouting your internet signal through Canada. So the website thinks, oh, this person's in Canada. They're free to watch all this. That's all out of the way now.
Yeah.
I'm going to refer everyone back from here on out when we do these episodes. Hey, go listen to episode 1. It'll tell you how to watch.
Yeah.
Now that is out of the way, this is season 25 of the challenge. It's Free Agents. Probably one of my favorite schemes or like themes to a challenge overall.
It was kind of a scheme too.
Yeah, but like, I guess maybe they've kind of went back to this format a little bit, but never fully. By the way, if you hear a dog barking, that is not our dog. we are dog sitting for
Puppy
Hannah's
sitting.
parents' dog, and it is upstairs and it is barking a little bit. So
Handsome
He
old
does.
devil, though.
He barks a lot at
he does.
nothing.
Yeah.
Our dogs don't do that.
No. Yeah. It's,
And we don't know what he's barking at.
they whine some because they know we're like close to them, but like he just barks randomly.
Call it more of a moan.
Yeah, a moan. Our dogs
Yeah.
moan. Anyway, season 25. I really liked the season. I liked it a lot when I watched it live. We told your brothers on our Patreon podcast, Jake, when we interviewed them, probably the best Kara season overall.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell it from the beginning here.
Yeah.
This is just a totally different Kara.
Oh yeah,
It just is.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to see like what we just came off of with Final Reckoning and War of the Worlds to what it is back then. It's 5 years ago. I mean, people change, but it's a big change.
Well, my first note was Camilla thinks everyone else is crazy.
Well, it's always the crazy people that think they're not the one that's crazy, which is
Did
going
you-
back to the car.
Did
thing.
you notice that Frank said something similar?
Yeah, and my first note was Frank has a bad reputation with everyone.
Still as handsome as ever, though.
Oh, he is.
Yeah,
He is.
absolutely.
And they showed the clip of him like punching the pillows, which we talked to him about.
I'm not going to be made out to be a crazy person.
Yeah. This was Hurricane Naya's first challenge.
It was all of Real World Portland's first challenge, which that's a good cast
Yeah.
as far as challenge.
It's a lot of big people.
Some of them didn't last as long, but you got Jordan, you got Hurricane Naya, you got Marlon, who was on Rivals 1 or Rivals 2. He's Black Zeus on Twitter now.
Marlon's not on this season.
No, he's not, but he's from the same Real World season.
Portland?
Yeah. Johnny,
Okay, I was about to say I don't remember
No.
Marlon being on this.
Johnny Riley, Avery.
Is this where Swift came from?
I don't remember if Swift is, but Anastasia.
Oh, shout out to Anastasia.
And
man.
then Jess, like little Jess, that's on this season.
Yeah.
Like that's a good cast.
Yeah.
Like I need to watch that Real World season.
Yeah. I was trying to be Blood Hand.
I was just breathing real heavy.
Well, so this is, we still haven't entered, because everybody gets there with TJ and everything, and then like
In like the arena area.
the arena area, and like, he announces like the prize money, right? And it's a total of, what was it,
350.
350. So we're still not to a point of like, I mean, we're doing $1 million every season.
I think
now.
the first one of those was it Dirty 30?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
That
so.
sounds about right.
Which is crazy because it seems like they just do it all the time now.
I know.
And then the other thing is like, I think I personally enjoy the format better. You know, he mentions that it's guys against guys and it's girls against girls.
Yeah.
So even going down to the final, it's the girls running against the girls and it's the guys running against the guys.
Yeah.
I think I like it better that way.
I think this season is very...
They got a lot of things
it's
right this
bulletproof.
season.
Yeah.
It's pretty bulletproof. I don't remember other than, so we'll get to it in a minute. The daily, it was a little problematic with the first leg of the daily because some people got hurt and things like that. Because I was telling Hannah when we were watching it, I was like, I don't remember them ever doing anything remotely like this.
Yeah.
And then that's when Latoya's head got kind of smashed into the wall, and I was like, oh, that's probably why. But when TJ's explaining everything. He's like, challenge free agents. And then it cuts to Camilla. And she's like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And, like, I guess it is a sports term.
Yeah.
So, like, did you know what that means? Or just, like, from us talking about basketball and stuff?
Yeah, because like when TJ said free agents and Camilla said, what does that mean? I was like, okay, well, basketball players, when their contract's up, they're a free agent.
Yeah.
They can make deals with anybody.
Yeah, so that's a good analogy. I just, like, that's so ingrained in, like, our vocabulary that if you don't watch sports and then watch it from a really, like, heavily interested side, you might not know where that term comes from, but that's a perfect explanation of what it is.
I did notice that purple-haired Kara,
Yeah.
she's purple-haired now, or
Well,
at least here.
Yeah.
I like her better when she's purple-haired. She seems like more of like a sweet, genuine, like horse-loving girl.
Well, that was, I mean, it's not the hair color that did that.
But I mean, it like resembles a different phase in her life where she was like almost like the Taylor Swift of the challenge. She's a sweetheart, but not everybody likes her. Some people are going to try to stab her in the back. I'm telling you, Kanye West did it to Taylor Swift twice.
So you're saying she's the real all-American girl? this season.
This season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What-
not necessarily just this season, but like this phase of her life. Like you can see it in her face.
So just for clarity's sake, Hannah and I watched about a third of this season before War of the Worlds started, and so we're just kind of rewatching some of it, but we didn't get very far. So some of this we've watched twice pretty recently, but after like 4 or 5 episodes, it's going to be all fresh to us because we haven't watched. I don't think you finished this season, have you?
No, I have no idea what happens like after the midway point. But no, the reason I brought that up was Kara was actually hoping that this was going to be a group challenge.
Yeah.
Kind of like Cutthroat.
She was not considered a strong individual player at this point.
And I think she thought the same.
Yeah.
Because if you go back and look at this, it struck something in me when she said that, because I was like, oh, that's really off brand for her. But now she is like, even this past season, she was like, oh, it's individual. It's just me, myself, and I. There's only one winner. I'm totally okay with that. Like, that's what she wanted. But back then, here, she was hoping for a group challenge.
This season, which I'm not going to get any spoilers on it, even though it's like 5 years old. This season really let her prove herself to everyone and then to herself. Honestly, she has a lot of elimination stuff that happens and things like that.
I remember a couple of things happening.
Yeah, and you didn't.
But in the first half of the season here,
Yeah.
and like to me, this season is a turning point for her.
I definitely think that it's just a really good season. Like I love the dynamic of you can be a huge like 2-team like daily, and then the next day it could be like 8 different teams, and then the next day it could be
Every man for himself.
Yeah, like I love that dynamic because we'll get into it a little bit later when it comes to the voting. TJ's like, listen, guys, like don't just say the group's voting for this. I'm going to go for it.
Well, and it's random too, even when the teams are getting
picked,
right.
He drew out of the bag the captains. So we'll get to that little stuff.
I just I just really like this because this way of playing the challenge changes the political side of it too.
Completely.
Because you don't know who you're going to like secretly meet with to backstab somebody else, because that may be your partner the next day.
And so the winning team of the daily gets to choose one guy and one girl that has to go into the elimination. Then the rest of the team, no matter how big it is, how little it is, they have to do what's called the draw, which is where they flip over a card, and if it's got a skull on it, they go in. So it's completely random.
Yeah, so at that point, it's not a voting system who goes in.
It's just if your team lost, you have to do the draw. And you get some good eliminations out of it, and you get some really good like dramatic moments from it later.
It's just a big game of chance.
Yeah, and I like that. And the next thing is obviously he explains everything. Then they show kind of like the house. I think from what I remember, again, all these kind of run together after a while. I think this is the best house from a season.
Well, to me and you specifically.
But we're biased because it's got a basketball court in it. But just like even the rest of the layout, the pool, the outdoor area, plus it has a full court basket. I mean, a like 3-point line basketball court.
I do remember you saying those exact words when we went through this the first time. I love
this house. What country are they in? Is it Colombia or something?
Uruguay.
Is it?
It is Uruguay, because my next note is Isaac has like a watermelon-sized lemon that he's handing. Oh yeah, he knew a bunch of lemon facts. It's full of liquor, and he hands it to, I think, Zach, and his direct quote was, "Wikipedia says that 2013 was the best year for lemons in Uruguay."
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so weird.
Isaac's a weird guy.
I like him.
So I don't know. I have to say this with a disclaimer. I don't know if this is 100% true, but you remember when we interviewed Brandon Nelson, the free agents team, or the fresh meat team for Battle of the Seasons was a last minute replacement because someone from the real world Sydney was bringing things that they were not supposed to. Supposedly it was Supposedly it was Isaac. Because it was like Cohutta and Kellyanne, and then I don't remember the third one, but Isaac was the other one. And out of those, who would be bringing something that they weren't supposed to? Isaac's a strange guy. He does some like travel things now. He like says, "Hey, we're all going to Fiji. Place your tickets for it's going to be $1,800 a person. We're going to go here one day, here another day, here another day."
So he's a travel agent?
It's like he books tours to like have people.
So he's a traveling tour guide.
Kind of.
Like he would be the advisor.
But
of the trip.
but it's like party tours. It's like, oh, we're gonna go like
get messed up.
Yeah, like get really wasted and like hang out with like elephants and like
giraffes.
Yeah, he's not super active on social media, but from what I can gather, that's what he's doing these days, which doesn't surprise me at all.
Good for him.
It
Living
was
a full life.
It was interesting because there was one point as Anissa actually is talking about this house. You know, they're cutting the different portions of the house. You know, you being a camera expert, like I'm sure you can appreciate strong camera cuts.
Okay.
There was one that was real weird and out of place where the camera's underneath the basketball goal. Somebody shoots it. We don't know who.
Oh, they cut.
No. It was an air ball.
Oh,
Didn't even hit the rim. Didn't go in.
I remember a lot of times like because they do a strip basketball between CT and Teresa.
No, that's not.
But a couple times like they'll shoot and then they'll cut to a completely different shot of the ball going in.
No, this was just a shot fixed under the goal.
I don't remember this.
And then here comes the basketball, and it's a total miss.
I don't remember that.
Air ball.
Brandon told us him and Swift had some good battles on that court.
Well, we didn't see them.
They didn't show them.
We just saw strip basketball.
Jake, who do you think was the one that threw the air ball?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because Teresa
Was
Teresa the winner? No,
No.
CT was. It came down to 1 point.
And he did drain a long.
But this
three.
wasn't during the.
You're talking about just random
just
people
in general.
Yeah,
You know who I think it was?
probably Chet.
No,
He wouldn't even get out there.
no, he's real mathematic. I think he could equate it outright.
Okay. That's pool, not basketball.
I think it was Devin.
Really?
Here's why. Because as she noted, she was no longer with Big Easy at this point. So at this point, everything had to become real difficult now.
Yeah.
Okay.
She made a couple notes. She said Devin looks real good in this season.
I didn't write that down because I made a note about that during the Universal Orlando thing. You literally asked me, you're like, "Are you gonna write that down?" And I said no because I've already talked about it.
Well, this is the Universal Orlando thing was 5 years after this.
Yeah, she's been looking really good for the past 5 years.
That's one of the weirdest challenge relationships, other than maybe Nehemiah and Beth.
That was the worst.
That's a weird one.
That was the worst.
Yeah. So before the strip basketball game, the only other note that I had was Jasmine said she's going to be, quote, the whore of the house.
And she wants what?
Yeah. Well,
What
it
does she
beeped it out. She wants beep and balls.
Yeah,
which-
let's keep it clean for the kids
All
because we
day.
found out today on Twitter we are doing it for the kids.
Well, so she didn't say that the kids listen to us.
No, but they're aware.
They are aware of
They're
us.
aware, so we are absolutely doing this for the kids.
And we had one of our patrons send us a picture that she put our sticker on the back of her kids' Power Wheels.
Yeah, man,
That's cute.
This is all for the kids.
I have one more for you. I'll one up you. Johnny Bananas
I didn't write any
telling
quotes for
Nani and the others while talking to Dustin that he is a man on the outside but a woman on the inside,
He did say that.
and that Dustin should take his advice over Nani's.
And then Nani and every other girl out there was like, don't ever listen to him. And actually, Nani was talking about Johnny Riley. She's like, oh, Johnny's kind of cute. And they're like, Bananas? It's like, ugh, no.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, okay.
Is that haircut?
he did have some like flowy hair this season.
Yeah, real flowy.
So they did play strip basketball, CT and Teresa. It's a very close game. Teresa's pretty good.
She got that shot.
She does have a good shot.
She crossed him up one time.
She did. But CT won.
Why haven't we ever played strip basketball?
The two of you?
Yeah.
That's kind of weird.
Well, to be fair, when we play one-on-one, I typically win.
That's
Because
he's basing this off of like 4 years ago.
I can guarantee you I'd still win.
I've gotten in the gym.
It's nothing to do with that. It's just low post being able to get my own rebounds and stuff.
You wouldn't get to the low post this time.
Jake, we just played last week.
We did.
You're going to play tomorrow
But-
night, too. Oh, wait, you're not.
I am.
I'm not. I got to teach a kickboxing class,
Yeah.
which Han's going
I'll
to
be
attend.
No, I'm going
I'll
to play
be at-
basketball.
I was gonna go tomorrow morning, but now that you're teaching tomorrow night, I'll just go tomorrow night.
That's right.
Is there anything else you guys got in the house? Because the next thing is
No,
the
the
daily.
daily.
Yeah, it was called Out on a Ledge.
2 teams of 14.
Yeah, basically split everyone down the middle. They'd pick 2 captains, but basically it was most of the team was like chained together, and they had to run upstairs. There's 42 flights.
This daily was bonkers,
Yeah,
man. It's weird.
It was like they tried to do like a mini final.
Yeah.
Because there was flights up the stairs. They had a key that they had to hand off. Then it was a puzzle, which led to another key, which they had to hand off. Which was there only the logs after that, or was there a 4th step? There's only 3 steps, right?
Yeah, it was only 3 steps.
Okay.
You had 6 people that were chained together going up 42 flights of stairs.
Yeah.
4 people on the puzzle, and then 4 people going out on the beams.
And then basically TJ's like, hey, how I'm going to pick captains. He had a black bag with all the guys' names, all the girls' names. It came down to Naya and who is the guy?
Chet.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Chet was the one that cost his team the...
There were some strange picks in this
Yeah.
lineup.
Well, let me ask you this. How do you guys feel about being that he was our first interview, Brandon being the second to last guy picked?
I
Yeah.
made a note. I said, why on earth did Brandon get picked almost last?
Consistently underrated.
Second to Preston.
Wait, by the way,
Preston's good too. He's totally...
Preston does try very hard.
He does.
He totally... Because I remember watching him a lot of this season and another season, I think. He does another one, right?
He's done probably 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Rivals 2 with Knight.
Every season that I've seen Preston on, he goes above and beyond, and people continually underestimate him like they do Brandon.
He's just...
And he will come and surprise you. He'll prove you wrong.
If it's a strict athletic competition, he's not very good.
Preston can outrun anybody.
But if it's like a strategy where it's like, oh, you have to climb a ladder and then do something else, whatever, I will say he is pretty underrated on stuff like that.
He gives it his all.
And he's super long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
he puts his whole heart into it.
the weird thing wasn't necessarily that. One of the weirdest parts was, so, you know, you have your people running up the stairs. You'd think you'd want your big people, the ones that are in shape, that can handle that. So it comes to the puzzle. CT's on the puzzle. He's not in the hallway.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I did say this. It could be that he has so much muscle mass that he's like Hunter this season, where he has no endurance, where he doesn't have the endurance to last 42 flights of stairs.
I think CT at this stage could do that.
This is pre-dad bod CT.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't say dad bod. I just
This is
thought
still almost
he
peak CT.
he was just so much. He had so much muscle mass.
So, well, they basically they pick teams again, like we said, and some strange choices. But Naya's new, Chet's got weird fringe alliances. So,
But he still, I feel like he still doesn't really understand what he's doing, because he was a team captain. So, one, he could not get his team figured out, like who's going where. Everybody was bickering and arguing over what section you should do, and he put himself on the puzzle even though he's not good at puzzles,
which is kind of surprising. You think he would be good at puzzles?
Yeah, and because of that decision, he cost his team the victory.
Yes.
In this challenge.
Well, I don't know if it's only that, because
it had a lot to do with it.
Because the black team ended up getting more people across the log at the end, but so they started everyone going up the stairs. I don't even remember how many people it is. Probably 8 going up the stairs on each team. They're all chained together.
It was 6.
Was it only 6?
There's 2 teams of 14. 6, 4, and 4.
Okay.
I just said that.
Well, they're running up the stairs, and basically at one point, the black team, or the Johnny's team, starts pulling away, and Frank is just like, they're not going to, like, we can't let them beat us. And so he's like, they're chained together. I'm just going to try to lock down the last person on their team, which seemed to be Kara. Mm-hmm. And it's a good strategic move. It is, because they can't go anywhere if Kara can't go.
Yeah.
But then some people got mad saying he was putting her in a headlock and whatever else. I never quite saw a headlock, but
Laurel called it a chokehold.
Yeah. Laurel was real mad about it.
Yeah.
This was, again, Laurel and Kara were on and off
They
friends for so many years.
Pretty good friends this season.
But yeah, they were upset about it. But then they get to the top, and there's kind of like a a jam of people that are trying to get through the last doorway, and the black team like can't get their key out, and so that's when Swift just decides
he's gonna jump on everybody's heads.
Like if they can't get the key out, I'll come to them and get the key, and that's when he jumps over and like nails LaToya into the door.
Her head to the door.
Yeah, and I thought she got a concussion, honestly.
I still think she got a concussion.
She came back from the medical thing saying she was just dehydrated. Which, by the way, they just did go up 42 flights of stairs chained together in, a South American country. And so it's probably pretty hot. Yeah, that was a strange move, but he did get through. There wasn't any rules against it. That's why I don't think they've done anything like this since then.
Yeah.
Because you could really get people hurt.
It's a little too chaotic.
Yeah. There's walls and doorways and chains and stuff involved that could really hurt people. But yeah, they get through. They start doing the puzzles. Did the red team finish second, right? Because Chet was the red team.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the black team finishes first, and then at that point they just stop the times, and then they try to see how many people can get across the rolling log with the flag and all that.
Can we just talk about real quick when they start the rolling log thing?
Mm-hmm.
Kohuta's quote.
What? I didn't write it down.
Devin pretty much has the balance of a bull elephant on a log.
Yeah.
A male bull elephant on a log.
Can we, because we've talked to Kohuta, not on the podcast, but we've talked to him.
Yeah.
On the phone.
Can we, request, a book of quotes?
Oh, he'd be one of the ones to go to for that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd buy it.
Yeah, it's a good one. People love his interviews.
I would buy it and then frame it.
So you can't ever read it.
I would read it one time and then frame it.
And commit it all to memory.
Yeah.
He did. He has a lot of good quotes on the island and some other stuff. He has some good little interviews and stuff like that. But they basically trying to get everyone to go across this log. I didn't write down every single person who went across.
No.
But
Jess was the first to make it across and ring the bell with the flag.
Brandon went before her, and he was very close, but he fell right at the last minute.
Tried to just jet across the thing.
Yeah.
He almost did it.
He got close.
I
Our
would
guy
like
Brandon.
to start the hashtag bring Brandon back.
Well, oh yeah, what I was gonna say earlier, and I forgot. He did open his food truck.
I'm really proud of him.
Yeah,
he has been working on that.
It's cold pressed juices in Las Vegas, and he's a part owner of it. He's his own boss doing it right now, and so again, if you're in the Las Vegas area,
we need to go to Las Vegas just for that.
It's a really expensive cold pressed juice.
Is it?
Worth it.
I mean, if you go to Las Vegas
to support a friend starting their small business, that's a big deal.
Hey, if I'm gonna drop $13 for a cold pressed juice,
it's gonna be good.
Is that how much it is?
Oh, I don't
know.
If that's how much it is, I'll do it for Brandon.
I do it for Brandon.
Yeah.
I thought you would appreciate this. All the times were posted. For
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Times posted for the stair climb, for the puzzle,
Yeah.
for each person that went across the beams.
Yeah, and they gave
because
us
Camilla finished it in 18 seconds.
well, and going into the last part with the beams, they showed the standings of the two teams.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, this is where they're
Because
at.
Chet's team was
A minute and a half behind or something like that.
no, it was 3.5 minutes behind.
It was,
was it?
red team was at 1950, black team was at 1618.
That's
Okay,
right.
yeah.
I had you write it down.
No, you didn't.
That's okay, because I wrote
Yeah,
it down.
Okay,
You
thank
definitely
you.
did not.
We were sitting on the couch with the kitten, and I said, "Hey, that cost them 3.5 minutes." And you're like, "Are you sure 3.5?" And I was like, "Yes, it was 1950 versus 1618."
Yeah, so
and you're like, "Okay," and then you went to write something down. I thought you wrote down the times.
You just said, remember when I told you
because
to write that down?
You're so into the timestamps.
I do that's the one thing that drove me crazy about War of the Worlds.
Hey, don't worry about it, though, guys, because I got the times.
Thank you, Jake, for the validation.
So basically, Brandon got real close. Jessica did make it across after Jordan was chewing her out over it.
She gave him the middle finger.
She did.
And
without physically giving them the middle finger.
Jordan didn't even make it.
Yeah, Jordan didn't make it.
Do you think, though, even though that... Well, they still won it. You got to think, if you're just this guy,
Yeah.
he's going to shout
Yeah.
at you
Well,
all
and he
the
was.
time.
They were both rookies, and they were both from Real World
Jordan
Portland.
wasn't a rookie.
Yes, this was the first Portland season.
Jordan was on Rivals 2. Wasn't this...
Oh, this may have been after Rivals 2.
I thought
that was
Nia
his-
said that this was Jordan's first season.
Well, this was Nia and Johnny Riley in some of their first seasons.
Because Jordan was teamed up with Marlon.
Yeah, you're right. And Marlon only did one season. I think Jordan had done one season before this. Anyway, this was all in that same era.
God, Statman Paul is going to hear you say this
Yeah.
was Jordan's first season. He's going to lose his mind.
Yeah.
Up until this point, don't worry, Stat Checker Paul. I've got you covered tonight, my guy. I've got you covered.
That first one was, like, with Marlon was his first one, for sure. Because I forgot they did that one. I was just thinking all the Portland people were new on this season, but that's actually not right. Jess made it. Camilla made it. Kohutta made it. Everyone else fell. Dustin had a real weird fall in the middle of it.
I just want to say real quick about Jess.
Mm-hmm.
All right, is that
By the way, she's a chef on, like, a Netflix show now.
She
Yeah,
also
man.
has the most amazing teeth.
She's cute. I think she's attractive, but that's not what I want to say about her.
Are you gonna ask her out?
She's
would.
got a boyfriend.
Does she?
Mhm.
What I want to say about
He's a
her
minor league baseball player.
is that after overcoming that, I put her up there with Mama Kim. For me,
As not dead.
I put a lot of people up there as not dead.
I put her up there with Mama Kim as inspirational Jess.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
That's where she's at for me.
I don't know if she maintains that,
No,
but as of right now, I got it.
She's not quite up there yet for me.
she is for me.
Big
moment.
Yeah, so they did all that. Black team wins overall. Jimmy falls. Dustin falls. Some other ones do. But black team wins. Black team has to nominate 2 people. They get back to the house. This is when LaToya comes back from the ER, and she's like, "Oh, I was just dehydrated." She seemed a lot better, which probably they gave her a
Yeah.
bag of fluids and all that.
Oh, and Jasmine totally backing up her little sexual stuff to start off the episode by saying something about icing down Dustin's balls later.
She did say that.
She did.
But
did.
he had already told people, "I'm not here to hook up with anyone," which I
Well,
don't think that stays.
That's
by the
not
way.
necessarily hooking up, right? If you just need a good icing down.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
I guess
I
not
think-
technically.
I think it had come up that Jess and Dustin were kind of flirting. They kind of liked each other, but Dustin is saying, I made a promise, I made a pact that I wasn't going to do that.
To Heather.
And so
Yeah.
he's trying really
Who's-
hard to keep his word, which,
Who
oh my
he's not
goodness.
together with at this time.
What a man.
Statman Paul, check that for us if
But-
that is actually.
By the way, this is a super weird thing, which we've not talked about on the show.
I didn't finish my request, Statman.
What was it?
Well, I
think-
didn't finish what I was saying.
You know, we're in real serious trouble tonight.
The end of what I was saying is I'm pretty sure Jasmine said that Dustin needed some ice. And she's like, I bet Jessica would do that for you.
Great. What's yours?
What did
What-
we were saying that's not technically sex, right? Is that what we were saying?
What's
Icing
not?
down.
Oh yeah, I don't
Dustin's
think any of
balls.
us said that.
What were we?
Okay, I'll go.
All right, Statman Paul, confirm that for us.
What I was gonna say is, before we started the podcast, like right before we started, I ran across something on Reddit. I believe it was Reddit, that Dustin was on a pilot for a reality show where it was like a small time butcher shop, and he was an apprentice to become the head butcher, and it was like in upstate New York, and
It would be.
it was like this little butcher shop, like, yeah, we cut you all the meats, and he's like, I'm just here learning how to be a butcher. And I was like, this is
What
so
a weird show.
It didn't get picked up for a full season or anything like that, but there's a full 20+ minute pilot on Vimeo. I watched
I
it.
want to watch it.
It's very strange. I don't remember what it's called, but I'm sure if you get on like IMDb or something, you can figure it out. But it's all free on Vimeo, and it's something to do with a butcher shop, and Dustin is in it. And he doesn't talk about being on the Real World. He doesn't talk about being on the Challenge. He's just supposed to be like this kid that's learning how to be a butcher. And this is after all that. Way after. This was like within the last 2 or 3 years.
what?
Yeah. It's real weird.
I have to watch that tonight.
No, I'm not doing that tonight.
Have to.
It's real
Have
strange.
to.
I don't even know how I'll find it, but I'm sure it's out there somewhere. But yeah, I don't think we've ever talked about that. It's real strange. Because Dustin hasn't been on anything recently, obviously.
Well, other than that.
I mean, as far as challenge related. But anyway, LaToya's back. TJ tells them they have to start voting. Basically, the black team has to individually vote one guy and one girl, and TJ's like, all right, start here. Who's your vote? I don't remember who gave the first vote, but it's not important. The main thing is...
I think they started with Naya because she was the team captain.
It may have been Naya, but I think Swift went second, and he's like, oh, I'll just follow the team. That's when TJ was like, no, like, calm down.
That's not following the team. It's one. He's the second voter.
I know, but like TJ was just like, remember, this is your team today, but they're not your team in the long run, or like this is an individual game. So vote how you want to vote in the long term.
Yeah, and then he made him swiftly change that vote.
Yeah,
well,
good one.
It seemed like everybody, aside from maybe one or two other people, everybody still pretty much voted for LaToya.
I wrote Johnny gets the concept of free agents because he was like, this is an individual game.
Yeah.
And that was...
Now, for the male vote...
It was kind of all over the place.
Everybody was voting however they wanted. So it was kind of going along the lines of more of what TJ wanted.
There was like 5 or 6 different people that got nominations.
It was several people.
It basically came down, LaToya was voted in, and then Chet. Because, I mean, I don't think, honestly, a lot of people saw him as physically a strong competitor.
A lot of his teammates said that it was his fault that they lost.
Yeah, but they didn't get a vote.
That's right.
It was only the black team that got to vote.
I know.
So they voted for Chet. It comes down to the arena, and they're going to come into the draw. Does anybody have anything before we get into the eliminations?
No.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
No.
So they go into the elimination area. I don't know what it's called this season. I missed it if he said it. Did he say? Like, usually they're like, the killing floor or...
The la la la.
Does it have a name this season?
We'll just call it the carryover.
The carryover.
Why?
Just sounded right.
Basically, everyone else from the red team has to go down in front of these big tables and do the draw, which there's however many people are there. There's a card for each one of them, and there's one card that has a skull on it. You can pick whichever card you want, and it's kind of randomized.
This is another thing that makes this season so great, is because, like, you can't go into these eliminations with any sort of plan. Now, Jordan debunked that whole...
Later.
That's totally different circumstance.
But that was a good moment for this season.
It was, but, like, you can't. Like, if you're on the losing team, like, you can't be like, this guy's got me.
Especially a team this big. Like, this is half the... Like... Someone, I don't remember in an interview, was like, literally half the house is packing their bags. Yeah. Because you don't know who's going in.
Yeah.
And so I like that. It puts
there's no picking and choosing, man.
It puts everyone on edge.
Yep.
The people that got nominated don't get to vote for who. It's just complete random. And I do like that.
I do remember when after the voting was finished, Kara was a little peeved. She's like, nobody said my name once to nominate me for this elimination, and I still might go in.
Yeah. Which, spoiler, she goes in a lot this season. So it comes down to LaToya, and then they start doing the draws, and then Jimmy, I don't remember how far down she was. I think she was maybe like one of the last 3 or so.
It was Emily Fitzpatrick, right? Yeah. Emily and then Teresa were the other 2.
Yeah, so it was last 3.
Yeah.
She flipped it, and then TJ's like, that's the kill card. She's like, yeah, I know. I was like, that's a weird response. He's just letting you know.
Well, it was more like, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Like,
shout out to Jimmy with an accent, man. We'd get along real well.
And Mississippi State girl.
Hey.
That's nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so she went to college.
I thought she was LSU.
She was on Real World New Orleans, but she went to Mississippi State.
That makes me like her more.
But so then it's Chet, and then they go through all the guys. I mean, you got some big guys on this one. And
I feel like this is like prime Zach. It was like physical.
Yeah.
Like his hair was long. It was luscious.
This is before like melancholy Zach, where he's just like, I don't really want to be here.
But like when he first showed up, I was like, man, I think this is like tip top Zach. It's like from a physical standpoint.
Yeah. He always looked like Thor.
Because he doesn't look as big nowadays.
No, I don't think he works out nearly as much.
I think he has just like slimmed down.
He looks slimmer,
like he's doing more running as opposed to weightlifting.
He was huge when he first came in. Like
he used to be a football player.
Yeah, he used to be a football player, and he lifted weights a lot. He's physically just gifted. He's very tall, very muscular. And
gifted is the right word.
Genetics,
Physically gifted.
Yeah. Which is honestly why a lot of people think he's one of the bigger letdowns on the show, because other than Battle of the Seasons, he's not won anything.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the end of the season.
Oh God.
So thanks for spoiling that.
That's not. Again,
I
this
was
is 5 years ago.
hoping that he would win.
I don't remember how far he gets, but I mean that's
Sorry, Han.
that is a big thing why people don't think Zach is up there in like the big names with the guys.
I will say it's not. Yes, it's a letdown, but it's almost fair that way because he is a physical specimen, but also he's very pretty,
Handsome.
and he's got a good sense of humor. If he won a lot of these, like Johnny Bananas does,
A lot of people hate him on this show.
I think it would be just not fair.
So you're saying Johnny's not handsome and pretty?
He's short and stocky. He's not built like Thor
No.
and pretty in the face.
He is in good shape though. I mean, he's in really good shape.
Johnny.
Yeah.
Johnny's a little too cocky.
That's his whole personality.
I know, and I don't like it. That's a fault.
Well, regardless of that, the guys are flipping their cards, and it comes down to Frank. Frank draws the kill card. And I think Zach is one in the interview that's like, yeah, Frank's a better competitor, like physically, but you know, Chet's really smart and he might be able to do whatever.
He said strategic.
Yeah, strategic.
Yeah.
And so
I was trying to remember what word.
I was like, I remember watching this and I was like, Frank's gonna win this. Like, even if Chet's smart, like Frank's gonna win. And this was before we got more seasons of Frank. And basically, the guys go first.
No, the girls go
Did the girls go
first.
first?
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
Because it went for like 10 rounds.
Yeah, I just wrote them down backwards.
Actually, I just watched it. The guys went first.
Okay, yeah, I thought because I have Latoya.
Yeah, because those are
towards
my
the end.
last notes.
I
Yeah.
thought the girls went first.
I love when we get technical.
Well, like I had like Chet was my next note, like in the elimination, and I was like, why would I write those out of order?
Yeah, I just so
yeah.
I
Jake
had to,
just finished watching it.
Yeah, I had
Well,
like 15
anyway,
minutes left. Yeah.
The boys round
Chet
was like lackluster.
Well, kind of like so. I can't remember the name of this game, but
But this is one of those eliminations. Like there should be like certain eliminations that are staples of every season.
it's a good elimination because
This is one of them.
It's not just strength, it's not just speed, and it's not just like skill.
Yeah.
Like, so technically, if you're really good, which it's never paid off, I've seen some people try it, you could like shoot the ball in without running into anybody. Jarrell tried it one season and it didn't work.
You
but
have a shot on lockdown.
yeah, it's not a big like area of like being able to miss. The other thing is, you know, you can be super fast, but you got to be able to be strong enough to get by them too. So the one good thing is if you got someone that's really strong, if you can force them out of the ring, the round's over as well. So there's a lot of good checks and balances in this elimination. And they played a lot of rounds. I think is it like the first of what do you remember?
It was best of 5.
Best of 5. So they
Yeah.
had to have someone score 3.
But Frank and Chet only made it 2.
2. Yeah, like
At the
well,
end-
actually, it was only one round, right?
Well,
Like one on like they each did offense and defense, and then it was over. Because
it was 2 rounds.
but that's
the end
that's
of-
one round.
The one round was Frank on defense, Chet on offense. Round 2 was the opposite.
But what I'm saying is I may not be right, but I swear TJ was saying like one round is you get to play offense and defense, and then it's round 2.
I didn't pick up on that.
Well, you also had the order wrong a minute ago.
Well,
I may be wrong on it, but I thought that's what it was. But regardless, Chet in the second one, whatever it was, the second turn.
he got a bloody gaping hole in his chin.
Which, by the way, shout out to that camera guy who got the helmet on the ground with the blood all in the face mask.
Man, yeah, that's thinking ahead right there.
That's a good still shot.
Yeah.
I hope he got a raise.
I don't think
Or
that's
at
how
least,
that works.
At least a bonus. Like, hey, man, this was incredible.
Yeah, it was.
You deserve a high five.
It was a good shot.
Full of money.
It was framed up really well, and then
they got an up close of his chin, and the skin was like dangling.
it was
And
like it was almost like the
so
blood was like
gross.
coagulating already. Like it wasn't dripping, but it was almost like it was like mucusy. Like it had like I don't even know how to describe it. Like,
Would
if you
you
see
say-
it, you'd saw it.
Would you
know
say
what I'm
that
saying?
he is a leprechaun with magic blood?
I wouldn't say that.
I think you're implying it.
No, I don't know what it was. It was more viscous than it should be. Like, it was thicker than it should
That's
be.
a word right there. Viscous. How about visceral?
Are you going to use that in Words with Friends?
Visceral means something
It's not a
different.
bad idea.
But yeah, like, and TJ is basically like, all right, here's your situation. You can go get stitches now and forfeit, which he made it sound like he'd be disappointed if you did. He's like, or you can put some bandages on it and then just keep playing. And
Chet said his face was too valuable.
He said it was his moneymaker. Did I miss something? Has he got like some sort of modeling gig at some point?
as far as I know, he didn't do anything like that. He basically, he never was a host of any. I mean, do you remember him host anything?
No.
Did he ever host like any like after shows or anything like that for MTV?
He was in a band during his season on The Real World, wasn't he?
Was he?
Was he not? Is that?
I don't know.
think about the same guy?
I watched that season when it premiered, and I haven't watched it since.
I think he's a little too awkward to be a host.
Yeah, he
Now
is.
Devin is
Same Real World season.
like, good Lord, she was made for it. She is so good at it, and she's so pretty. Oh my gosh, she's one of the most beautiful people alive.
I gotta tell you,
she's
Han,
gorgeous.
I think I've missed the boat on this Devin thing.
I love her so much.
She does. Like, she.
Yeah.
I love her.
It's weird with like, so her like going back and watching. Sometimes she'll have completely different viewpoints than like stuff me and you picked up on because we've been watching for a lot longer, obviously.
Also because you're men.
Well, not. It's not even that. It's just like we've watched a lot more of some of these people, and we watched their Real World seasons and things like that. So obviously, it's going to shape our perspective on things. It's just interesting now. I mean, part of it is we're guys, but
Do you want to know what sealed the deal for me on
with Devin, the wig funeral.
The wig funeral.
Yeah.
The time they buried her wig and had a funeral.
That was battle of the season.
And she she like played one of those characters where she's like, ah! And
a character. It's someone in mourning.
no, she was like being like real theatrical with her screaming and wailing, and she was like waving a makeshift handkerchief.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
Yeah,
like she was making a joke of it.
Devin was never good at the game parts of the challenge, but people liked having her around.
She's amazing. What a woman.
Anyway, going back to your point of Chet's moneymaker, he DQs. He said, I'm going to get stitches. Now, to be fair, it's day one. Chet can see who he's up against, and he knows it's an individual game.
Yeah.
I kind of get it. I mean, I do. And like, I almost always would be like, go keep fighting for it or whatever. TJ obviously wants him to.
But take a look at the men. You've got Zach in his prime. CT kind of in his prime.
CT's still in his prime at this point, I'd say.
You've got Johnny Bananas.
You got Frank.
Jordan. Frank.
Leroy. Jordan. Like,
I said Jordan.
Johnny Riley. Like, it's
Johnny Riley was pretty good too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a stacked group, and like, does Chet really think he's going to outlast and then outrun all these people in a final? Like, I get why he got the stitches.
Yeah, if anything, the closest he would get would be maybe taking Swift out in an elimination.
I don't think he could take Swift or Brandon or any of those guys. That are
he
smaller,
couldn't take Brandon,
but they're more his height.
Brandon took so many people out.
I agree.
He took everybody out.
Who's Chet going to take out in an elimination?
Well, I was going to say maybe Swift, and then that would be it. It would be like,
I give it to Swift, unless it's like something strategic. If it's a physical thing like what we saw tonight, like,
yeah,
I think
I think Preston may be the closest he can get to like an even match.
Preston's so much bigger than him.
I know, but he's also really thin.
He is thin.
So I mean, like it's like the flip of a coin. You never know who's going to win that.
I think in this elimination, I think Preston would win.
Yeah, because he's so lean
He's got long
and quick.
arms. Yeah.
I think he could do it really easy.
He's got long arms. He could stretch out pretty easily, and
he does have a lot of heart. He's got a lot of fight in him. I think if it came to like the tackling, physical, defensive part, I think Preston would still put up a really good fight.
Yeah. So anyway,
I wish Preston would come back.
I don't know what he's up to. Honestly,
I like him.
He's on the Real World season with Knight and Jimmy and all them.
Haven't seen it.
New Orleans. Anyway, Chet loses, Frank wins. I think Frank was going to win. I think Frank was going to win no matter what.
Everybody thought Frank was going to win.
But, you don't want to see people just go home on injuries. It is what it is. Then it comes down to LaToya and Jimmy. They do a ton of rounds. And
I was tired of watching because of so many rounds they did.
Well, towards the beginning, though, like, the round was over, and they were still, like, on the ground fighting. Like, TJ had to, like, get on the ground in between them and, like, hey, this isn't wrestling, and, like, I don't know.
That's what a kid told me when I played him in NFL Blitz. He said this isn't wrestling.
Did he say that because all you talk about is wrestling?
No, first of all, they came out like what, 1997.
Well, yeah.
So you've been holding on to this for 22 years.
It was perfect timing. It was a good one, right? I knew one day down the road we were going to have a podcast, and I knew that was the time.
Yeah, podcasts didn't even exist.
To capitalize. But he was, like some kids kind of talk funny.
What do you mean by funny?
No, I mean, they grow out of it. Like, it's just, they kind of like, they pronounce certain letters weird in their words.
Yeah, one of my best friends growing up was like, he had to go to speech class in elementary school.
My sister had to go to speech class.
I'm not saying anything's wrong. I'm just saying.
No, it's just like some people have to like learn how to pronounce things. Like our nephew doesn't pronounce some words right.
Oh yeah, when he's really like exhausted, he'll look at us and he'll say, "I'm really tired," and then like his favorite fruit is an orange.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when he said this, he actually said, "Hey, this is not wrestling."
Yeah. R's and L's and stuff are hard for little kids sometimes.
I had a friend one time when I was in 4th grade. We were friends because our parents were friends, and he had 2 brothers and I had 2 sisters, and our sisters and brothers were the same age, and he and I were the same age, so we were all stuck together all the time. And I got really mad at him one time because it was his youngest brother's birthday. And
you got mad at him because it was his younger brother's birthday?
No, they like my sisters and his brothers started arguing about something, and he's like, "Cut it out! It's my brother's birthday." And I started yelling at him. I was like, "That's not how you say birthday."
What did you just say?
Birthday.
You didn't really enunciate the F.
Yeah, I
well.
missed it.
Yeah, we both. Yeah. We were like, "What?"
Well, he said birthday.
I get it now, but when you said it, I was like, "What am I missing?"
He said birthday with an F, and I was so mad about it. I think I've been a grammar Nazi my whole life.
Yeah, probably. Sounds about right.
We get it.
I can't. I can't. I have no self-control. I can't not correct people when they're wrong.
You just used a double negative.
Oh, God.
Gotcha. It's a good win by LaToya.
Good win by you on that. Turning the tides.
Gotcha. Lawyered
tables.
Yeah. That's from How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
Oh, how the tables turn.
Yeah. It was first. Here's a weird thing about this elimination. It seemed. I'm not saying anything bad about Jimmy. It seemed like a lot of people were like really playing up how like tough of a competitor Jimmy is, and
LaToya played up how tough of a competitor she was. I don't remember
Jimmy she did a lot of seasons. I get that. I don't remember her being like a physical force of going against. I know she tried hard and fought.
I think from what I gathered watching this episode, a lot of the other cast members talked about Jimmy in elimination like they do Anissa. Anissa goes into elimination and she like never loses. And I think there were a couple people that were saying things like that, and so it got in the heads of these rookies, and they're like, "Oh, this incredible competitor! I'm taking this vet out."
I need to go back and see like what Jimmy's record was before free agents.
But I almost think that, especially with the rookies, in their minds, they see how many seasons you've done, and they equate that with ability and talent.
By the way, LaToya, I think, is from Real World Portland. I may be wrong on that too. But I think she all came from that same group.
You better ask Statman Paul on that one.
He'll let us know.
But do you get what I mean? Like,
yeah,
if you've done 5 seasons, even if you've gone home like in the first 3 weeks every season, a rookie may see that and think, "Oh my gosh, this is a really good vet. She's done 5 seasons."
Yeah, there are some people who you get 1 or 2 and then you're never back. Like weirdly, from Real World Portland, Avery, Johnny Riley's ex from that show, who fought with Nia on the Real World and all that. Like she's in really good shape. She's a good competitor. She only did 2 seasons, and then she just never really got called back. And people are like, why? Like she's good TV. She's in good shape. Like it's strange. And I think she's one of those that would come back again. Jimmy, she kept getting calls. She kept coming back. I don't blame her. But it was a good win by LaToya, especially after coming off possible concussion and being dehydrated and going to the ER.
I 100% think she got a concussion, even if it was like mild.
I don't know.
I think she got one.
It looked like it when she was laying on that rooftop.
Her eyes like crossed and rolled in the back of her head.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't do that when you're dehydrated.
I haven't.
I haven't either.
Jake, have you?
No.
Yeah.
Jake, have you ever been dehydrated where you had to have a medic?
I haven't.
Great.
Even getting sick?
No.
I got so dehydrated one time, I couldn't stop throwing up for 3 days and had to get like 3 IVs.
That is an awful story.
It was over Christmas
I
too.
hate throwing up more than anything. We had one episode where we had a bunch of throw up stories.
Oh, we should do another one of those.
Yeah, I mean, basically that's kind of the end of this episode. We got. It's a good first episode. We got introduction to the season. We got a big daily. We got 2 eliminations, all in one episode, and it was an extra long one. Like they made sure to get all that into one. The premiere.
I'm really glad that they did that.
Yeah,
I enjoy this format.
Yeah, and I don't remember if it stays that way. I'm sure we're going to get some cliffhanger eliminations because that's just typically how they do things.
But I mean, like, I'm okay with like 1 or 2 cliffhangers throughout the season, but I don't want like cliffhanger every single week. No.
And again, that's where Final Reckoning or some of those got in trouble, was doing that way too much. So yeah, we got a preview for the rest of the season, but we're not going to get too much into that because we'll work through each episode. Again, Hannah and I watched probably about a third of this season, so we haven't nearly worked through it all. She hasn't seen this, and I haven't seen it since it aired. Have you watched this one, Jake, since back then?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember you telling us now that you watched it. But it's a good one. Like, I really think this is up there in like the top handful of seasons. We need to get your brothers to watch it and then have them back on Patreon to kind of see their take on some of these people that they only know from the last 2 War of the Worlds and Final Reckoning.
For sure.
They wouldn't recognize a lot of these people.
No, like when they saw CT playing strip basketball, and like again, they have no idea about these people. But yeah, it's a good one. I'm excited to be doing this, but we got to do our superlatives for this episode. So, who wants to go first? Who smashed Smeds?
Swift smashed LaToya's head into the door.
Yeah, I mean that's the literal way to do it. Jake?
Kahada.
Okay.
With the just simply based off the bull elephant quote.
You
on
really,
a log.
I heard that and I wouldn't have got a smashed head out of that.
Well, you're not quite the southern guy that we are. Am I right?
Yeah. I haven't lived here my whole life.
Who do you mean, we as in you and Kahada, or
That's
we as
right.
in me also?
No.
Okay, cool.
Just me and Kahada.
I'm going to say you guys aren't going to do it, so I'm going to do it. Frank smashed Chet's head.
Smashed his chin.
Yeah, it's part of the head. The chin's part of the head.
Well, I couldn't give up the concussion.
Yeah, I know. I was going to do that if someone else took the other ones. So, yeah, I'll go with that. Who got their head smashed? You got to go with Toya.
I mean, I've already used that scenario, so I was going to say Chet's whole team by Chet, because he totally mismanaged his team and put everybody on the wrong, section, and then cost them the win.
What's yours?
Chet's challenge career. This is Chet's last outing.
Is it? Oh, yeah.
Is it not?
I think you're right. He goes home on this split chin and never comes back.
Off the moneymaker.
Yeah.
Moneymaker.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with LaToya because she went to the ER. She got her head smashed. She was dehydrated, but Swift did knee her into the door frame. Mm-hmm. So that's mine. On these, I don't think we're gonna do albums and movies, right?
I'm totally out. Also, our last the reunion recap or finale maybe where we did the movie, it came up all the way up to 2019.
Yeah, no, we would have to do
So,
it.
I mean, like, we finished that.
Well, yeah, we couldn't do the year by year anymore.
And we did not do that on purpose either.
It was complete happenstance.
Impeccable timing. That's
Yeah.
Weird.
Good job by me.
I will
It's my
say-
idea.
Good job, Jake.
I will say, though, on our Patreon podcast, I do ask everyone at the end, what's something pop culture related that you're really into? And
I already have mine for the
we
next
try
one.
to give, so movies, TV shows, video games, music, comic books, whatever.
TV shows.
I said that.
I know. Sometimes it needs to be said twice.
So we try to do that just to give you guys a little glimpse into the type of things we like outside of the challenge. Again, some people get mad about this stuff, but
Wes.
no, Wes doesn't care.
He's mad that we don't shout explicatives.
Yeah,
He is mad about that.
that got cut out of the show.
But
That
he-
got cut out of our interview.
Yeah, well, he's mad about it.
Yeah,
Oh, well.
that's a reveal right here for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ooh.
we'll be back next week with some more free agent recap. We'll do episode 2. We also will be doing Patreon podcast as they come up. We'll do at least 2 a month. So again, check out patreon.com/smashingheadspodcast. smashingheadspodcast.com has links to all of our social media, everything like that. And we'll be doing more interviews as they come. We got a couple things we're hoping to get working soon. If you haven't listened to the one with Tori and Kendall, that was a ton of fun for us. We did the fantasy draft with Logan. Go listen to that if you haven't.
That fantasy draft was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't even know what a fantasy draft was.
Why are you saying fantasy weird?
I don't know.
Fantasy.
Yeah, you were like enunciating
I'm not
it
trying
really
to say
strange.
it like that.
Say it again.
You say Taco Bell weird.
No, say it again.
You do.
Say it again.
Fantasy.
You didn't do it that time.
Anyway, I didn't know how those drafts worked. I didn't understand. But once it was broken down for me, I had so much fun, and I really want to do another one.
Yeah, we once the cast for the next season is revealed, we may do one for the upcoming cast. Problem is, we'll only be able to pick like 5 people each.
But that's okay. That's still fun.
Yeah, we'll get Logan back to do that because we had a lot of fun with him, and so we'll be cranking out stuff throughout the summer as this kind of drought between seasons happens. But we're not going anywhere. We took a little bit of time off after War of the Worlds, other than the Kindle interview and all that, and then we took a week off. Jake went on vacation. We released the Logan Patreon thing, but we're back. We'll be back weekly doing these, and again, I'll have a video hopefully tomorrow showing you how to watch Free Agents if the audio explanation didn't make any sense. So until next time,
Have a good night, everyone.
that's what I was waiting on.
Knick-knack, paddywhack.